Hello and welcome to episode 23 of War Down South, the fortnightly Warhammer podcast from the south coast of the UK. I am, as ever, your host, Mr. Callum Slater, and I'm joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, Mr. Ricky Robson.
Hey, hey, hey.
And Mr. Sam Neese.
What? Where am I? Yeah.
Yep. So this week...
Apparently his granddad's here.
So this week we will be talking about the latest GW news, the release of the Age of Sigmar 3 and the Dominion box set, news from the GW tournament circuit, and I will be talking about some very basic first impressions of the Adeptus Mechanicus codex. And we will be rambling on incoherently and going off on many, many tangents. Don't expect to get much out of this episode, but it's a bit of a corker.
Tangent.
So, sit back, grab a stiff drink, and let's roll. Fantastic. Thank you for joining us again, Callum, Ricky, and Sam. How are you gentlemen this week?
Oh. Yeah, what?
I thought that was going to be some big announcement or something.
No, I thought I'd build it up with a little hype and then just kill it all with a apathetic. Yeah, what?
Well done. Ricky, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm very busy. But yeah, you're all right.
Yeah.
Living a dream. Honest. What about you, pal? You okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. Always good, me. Keeping on rolling. I'm tired.
I was going to say, none of us sound particularly convincing at things being all right.
I'm very tired. We had like half a week of really, really beautiful weather, and now it's raining and grey and miserable again. I think that's just giving me a bit of the
Floppy one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, not too bad.
Damn, it came down earlier though.
Oh yeah, absolutely hammering it down.
I don't think I've ever seen it last so long. Stormcaster here.
Yeah, it's good viral marketing.
Yeah, too right.
Yeah, no, I woke up about 4 o'clock this morning and it was just sheets of rain outside my window. It's like, I'm gonna go back to bed. But yeah, not too bad.
Such is life.
Yeah, exactly.
If it bothered us, we'd piss off somewhere else.
If life bothered us, we'd piss off somewhere else.
Yeah.
No. Brilliant. So have you guys been up to any hobby or anything this week? Someone?
Yeah, no, I actually haven't. I kind of got some stuff out of the box, and I haven't had time to actually do anything. I am starting to prep some terrain though for July.
Is that for Summer Showdown?
Aha. Yeah,
boy.
got lots of
plug.
yeah, lots of new terrain for the desert boards and stuff like that, which would be good. And I've just been working on refining how the event will run. But yeah, no actual hobby for me, unfortunately.
That's exciting. You have provided a great service to the hobby community though this week, haven't you?
I think so.
With your your laminated bits of paper.
Yeah, my laminated bits of paper. Oh, I love.
Want to tell us about those?
Yeah. So with the stuff that my other half does, she can print mugs and t-shirts and stuff for a process called sublimation, and we were doing some mugs, and I was kind of like, can you do this on a whiteboard? And we were like, and she was like, I don't know. So we had a bit of a look around and found that you can. So we basically found someone that could potentially produce whiteboards for me that we could print on. So I was like, well, let's take the template that is the old what do you call it, score sheet for 40k and make magic.
Yeah.
And yeah, sold out twice in a week, and more turning out Monday.
That's pretty good considering you could just laminate a bit of paper. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Nice. I'm gonna have to get on board with that. Want
Yeah.
me some Ricky branded tat?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's what I'm all
That's the way
about.
forward, mate. And with AOS coming out, and it sounds like it's going to be a bit more like the old 40k side of things. I'll probably try and produce something for that too.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly
to,
the same,
you know,
just with a hammer on
it. Yeah. Do you think the scoring is going to be the same?
I don't think it'll be exactly the same.
But yeah, same concept, isn't it?
Yeah.
But either way, I mean, I use a whiteboard anyway, like one of the little like ones you can get that break in about 5 minutes, and I always have, and I kind of drew my own grids on it, and that worked great. So this is like the next level of plush wargaming accessory.
Speaking of plush wargaming accessories, I did see a post on Twitter last week where a guy was playing at Warhammer World, and obviously all of the COVID restrictions are still in. So he had like a dice holster on his belt.
Oh, I remember you saying that.
And like, so he was just dipping into this holster, rolling dice, picking them up and putting them back in. I was like, I'm not sure if that's the best or worst thing I've ever seen.
I will solve that quandary for you. It's the worst.
I really want one.
I think you
I'm
need
worried.
AdMech.
I'm worried that if I were to ever use a dice holder, that would be the thing that killed all dignity that my wife holds for me in her eyes.
I mean, it wouldn't be. You wouldn't be like clipping a tape measure to your belt.
I don't know. It's the same level of bad.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like it will seal all poon in a 3 kilometer radius. There's no coming
do you
back
know what?
from
The
dice
tape
holster.
measure on the bait. Sorry. Yeah, can't even speak. Carry on, Sam.
I'll just say there's no coming back from a dice holster.
No, it's. I mean, do you think you'd tell her?
She'd know. Like you'd walk through the door, and your wife would just have that look like, I know what you've done, and I'm disappointed in you.
You just saying that, and then the tape measure on the belt as well. Literally came out of Tesco's last night, and the security guards just changed shift. And one of them, you've watched Police Academy, and you've got the really over enthusiastic one who loves guns and tactical stuff.
Yeah.
Well, this security guard literally had like a tactical high vis vest with like all the gadgets on it, and he had this tactical belt, and he took the tactical belt off, and no word of a lie, it had like these 2 large key rings like a jail like blokey does, and like multiple pouches, and I'm just literally thinking you are a Tesco security guard. Like, yeah, I'm not sure what you need.
Not to disparage people who work in keeping private enterprises safe or anything like that.
Oh, but not at all. I used to do.
If you're fully geared up with like a vest and pouches and stuff, you're just a failed policeman.
Well, yeah. There was a few guys like that, where Callum and I work. We used to have offices at Gunwharf, and we had like a little side office that we had a kitchen space that was used by security on the side of it, and they were all the same. Like they all had like loads of holsters and stuff, but like where pepper spray would go, because they couldn't have it, like they'd just have like a can of Dr. Pepper or a Snickers wedged in it.
That's what I 100% reckon this guy had. Just literally pouches of probably stuff he's took off the shelf.
Like bandoliers of snacks.
Yeah.
I just heard a can open.
Yep.
What you got?
I decided to go a bit wild earlier this week, because I got deceived by how nice the weather was.
He scored some diamond white off of the fisherman tramp.
No. I randomly bought a few cans of White Claw.
Oh, I like White Claw. No, that's good shit.
What?
They're like.
I mean, that sounds
fruity...
just as bad as White Claw.
No,
I mean, it does sound like super white trash.
Oh no, it is white trash. Like it's like the American party drink at the moment. It's flavored hard seltzer, basically.
Yeah, it's best enjoyed on a fan boat while sporting a mullet, but it's really tasty.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those super dangerous sort of like. It's only like 4 or 5%, but it doesn't taste boozy at all. So
is it a bit like a Desperado? It doesn't really actually taste like alcohol. It just tastes like a fruit drink.
Yeah. It literally just tastes of like sparkling fruit water.
Yeah, that's dodgy stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm riding the tiger.
Rawr.
What have you got this week, Rick?
A big bottle of cherry Pepsi Max and 4 slices of lemon, mate.
Delicious.
Sadly, I am taxi boy tonight, so no alcohol until I get home.
No alcohol, just fistful of cat.
About you, Sam? Cup of tea?
Yeah, feet up in a cuppa, mate. Been a long week.
Good man. We should start recording these in the bath, shouldn't we? We always end up a long week, exhausted, and here we are.
See, I
could probably do that with my new headset. It's got quite the range on it.
Yeah, there wasn't quite enough time between like finishing work and starting recording the episode for me to like run in and get comfortable in a bath. Unfortunately,
Callum has to like 30 candles. He has to find his rubber ducky in his boat.
Yeah. I
I
love a relaxing.
My boy doesn't mess around with a bubble bath.
Yeah. Bubble bath, bath salts.
Love it.
Everything, mate.
We've got this little incense burner thing that reacts with the moisture in the air and gives off like a lavender smell. It's quite nice. But
like a diffuser.
I guess so. I don't really know what it is.
Of course, the best thing about bubble baths is post-bubble bath Callum with his tiny, tiny kimono.
Yes, anyone who shared a room with me at a tournament would know that's exactly what I do every time.
Yeah, he doesn't select the large towel because that drags on the floor because he's short.
Yeah, hand towel
over
the lads, and then that's about it. Anyway, what hobby have you been up to this week?
I got a little bit in, ironically, during the hot period. So I painted up a couple more characters for my Grey Knights. Not far off reaching my target on those now. So I've only got 15 Terminator size models left to go, and they're all primed and already based. So with it being quite cool this weekend, I can get the metal work done on them. Hopefully tomorrow morning. And nice. Then they're coming along a lot quicker than I thought they were going to, especially given the heat. There was a real struggle finishing those 2 characters that I did this week.
Turning back and your paint's dry.
Yeah, just constantly battling, like one hand putting it on the miniature, another one trying to keep the mixture wet on my palette.
Start spitting at it. Wet palettes are for fancy pants, people.
But also, would have probably been a good idea for when it's hot.
It saved my life when it's hot trying to paint things for tournaments. Just mixing up big patches of colour on a palette because I don't paint sensibly. That sounds good. So you're excited that your Grey Knight should be relatively soon, Sam?
Yeah. I reckon I should have these done in the next couple of weeks. That'll be all fully done, and then I've just got 10 more guardsmen to paint, and I will have hit my target of one fully painted army for each of the of Ricky's events that I intend to go to for the rest of the year.
Awesome. So all of them, yeah.
No,
that's more than me.
Sorry, you're not going all 6?
No, I won't have full BillGates.exe upgrades until the start of September. So I'm doing September's. October was already booked in. I'm doing November's, and then I was going to do December, but then I remembered that no matter what I do, some fucker will always try and give me a cold right before Christmas, and then I won't give it to Alana until like Christmas Eve, and then I'm in trouble because she's sick on Christmas and can't taste her dinner. So I'm skipping December's out of some fucker giving me a cold paranoia.
Well, you'll be wearing a face mask.
3's not too bad.
3's not too bad.
3's not too bad.
No, I will take it considering that I've had one game in over a year. I literally bursting at the seams ready for these games.
Yeah, it's going to be good, I think.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I hope you're doing all 6.
Yeah.
Good boy. Good boy.
6 chances at winning trophies. Woo-woo.
6 chances of everyone else winning the Slater Award.
Oh, no,
it's only October.
Oh, that's only the big one.
Yeah.
Thankfully. I don't think I could take that.
Yeah, as it gets passed around.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Callum's slowly becoming that meme of that tiny woman on the couch surrounded by big men with Slater Awards. I'm going to make that a thing.
I don't think I've seen this. Do I want to see this?
You'd know it as soon as you saw it. Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyone that's won a Slater Award, send me a picture of yourself. I'm going to make this happen.
You know literally all of them, apart from one.
Now that would rely on me remembering who's done it.
I mean, the first one...
It's...
Oh,
thanks for that. It's what? Simon, Rob, Jim, and not Sean.
Yeah, and then the other guy's called Jack, and nobody's ever seen him ever since, I think, that event.
Yeah.
Okay, Simon, Rob, Jim, Sean. I can probably rustle that up. I'll add in Rolf Harris and someone else, probably. Why not?
Thanks for that.
Oh, God.
Oh, dear. I've done lots of hobby this week, though. Thanks for asking.
Hey,
we hadn't got there yet.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, have you done any hobby, Callum?
We'd already gone on 2 massive tangents. And I wasn't quite sure that we were ever going to get back to it. Yes, I've essentially built the majority of my first sort of Mechanicus lists.
Very
excited.
Have you enjoyed building your Wiki Wild Wild West Mechanicus?
Jim West,
Desperado. Yeah, some bits are really, really enjoyable to put together. The Dune Rider and the Scorpius Disintegrator are both lovely kits to get together. They go together like a dream.
What was bad? What made you want to commit a hate crime?
Regular Scutari.
Yeah,
still
feel your pain.
Lines.
Yeah, just because their mold lines are just in the worst places ever.
Yeah, the mold liningest kit that has ever been produced. I swear, when I did mine, just scraping off the mold lines, I had enough flash to melt down and like build extra boxes of Scutari just out of mold line flash.
It's not even that the mold lines are particularly egregious. It's just the fact they're always on like the ribbed tubes.
Yeah,
like
of course,
it's just a design failure. It really frustrates me. Yeah, they're not fun to put together. The Archaeocopters were surprisingly really, really nice to put together. And yeah,
how many of them have you got?
I've got 2 of them so far.
They're flyers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've built 2 of the Fuselaves.
Who uses flyers?
Fucking Mechanicus, mate.
They're good.
They're really good.
Good. And it's good that they're actually kind of like something that's viable.
Yeah, I would hesitate to say that for points that you pay for it, the Archaeopter Fuselave is probably the best flyer in the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking at the points, I saw that all the Eldar flyers went up in points.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, people are using them?
People aren't using them, But the sort of secret to it that I think obviously GW and a few people have noticed is they've gone up in points purely down to fuck you. That's why.
That's the best reason.
Yeah, it makes no sense why the Elder Flyers have gone up, but who cares?
Yeah, I know.
All I can
absolutely
assume is that someone's listened to a few episodes of this and they're like, no, fuck that Ricky guy. he's going to play more for his planes.
Well, I'm not, because I haven't touched this army in like an entire edition so far.
Yeah,
That's
on
why.
New Games Workshop. I won't use my 10 £40 models.
Yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah, I'm sure you've won that. Good job. The kits on overall are actually quite nice to put together. The newer stuff especially. I was surprised at how big the Taraxi were. I put together a unit of Taraxi sterilizers.
Which one are those? Are those the flappy boys or the horsey boys?
The flappy ones with the big like flamers. But they are absolutely massive. Which is odd
really
a toughness 3 guy with 2 wounds.
Well, I guess it's because he's got 2 wounds.
Yeah. I mean, all of the elite Scutari stuff's got 2 wounds.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So then the Rust Stalkers and the cavalry all do.
I would expect it from the cavalry at least.
Yeah. In the under the last book, the cavalry for some reason inexplicably had 3 wounds each, and were 14 points a model or whatever. Let's change that because they're really good. But yeah, I'll be going over some of the Mechanicus stuff a bit later in the episode. I've put a load of bits together. I've been trying to think of like paint schemes and things, but I'll come around to that at some point in the next week or so.
I hear red's quite popular.
Yeah. I don't particularly. The thing is that I'm sort of stuck with is that I don't want to do like I quite like a metallic red body armor on the Scutari stuff. That's quite nice and that's really easy to do without it being that sort of bright Forge World metallic candy reds that are on their Thousand Suns. I don't want that.
Do them brown like leather, like cowboys.
But I don't want to paint leather.
Space West.
Paint them. Don't think of it as leather. Then think of it as canvas.
I don't want to paint brown.
Oh.
I don't know. But the thing is that like I'm sort of like, what do I want to paint the vehicles?
Brown.
Well, there we go.
Like old West traction engines.
Yeah. I'm going to paint them all up in the paint scheme to match the giant mechanical spider from Wild Wild West.
Yes.
Yes. And you should have Jim West as your
Jim West.
Artemis Clyde Frog.
But and I've played I played my first game with them last night as well, which was quite fun.
Hey, how did that go?
Yeah, really good. I played Mr. Ben Fletcher, who's a local at the Haven Club, who's coming to a couple of the confrontation events as well.
One of us.
Yeah, nice chat with his relatively like all-rounder Ultramarine army, loads of intercessors, Blade Guard, Eradicators, like a bunch of dreadnoughts and stuff.
Standard.
Yeah.
Standard mashy, kill everything Marine stuff.
Yeah, a bit of everything. Like he had enough bits and pieces to do whatever he wanted, essentially.
It's capable of doing it, so why not?
Yeah, and I stomped the ever-living fuck out of it.
I was gonna say the burning question is: did you get bummed? No.
Did really good. Done real good.
You flipped it back and became the bummer. Well done.
Yeah. I'll go over some of my like thoughts and stuff on the list that I took in a bit. So we're going to talk a little bit about AOS and the obviously the Dominion pre-order that's up tomorrow, and our sort of initial thoughts of randomly what we want out of AOS coming up, kind of like what we did with 40k last year. And then I'll talk a little bit about the Mechanicus book. and my sort of plans for bits and pieces, and sort of the lead up to the confrontation event series, and then we'll sort of peter out and go watch the football at 8:00. Awesome. Right, so we'll just we'll take a quick break, and we'll join us again in a second.
So 40k.
So 40k indeed. Not 40k,
Another
AOS.
AOS,
Yeah.
sorry.
Another potential episode title there, down the toilet.
Yeah. Well, according to Twitter, you're only allowed to like 40k. That I've noticed recently.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's about.
There's a bit of shoutiness, isn't there?
I really don't know what's going on.
Funny old peoples.
But yeah, yes. So as Ricky's incredible Sorry, something's flashed up on my phone and it's too horrific to share.
Message it to us.
as Ricky's incredible introduction. So AOS. So we're recording this on Friday the 18th. So tomorrow is Dominion pre-order day. So expect all of the horrific nightmare of people complaining that they weren't able to get hold of a box like Indomitus last year, but with AOS and gold this year. I'm super excited about AOS 3 because I didn't play a lot of AOS 2, but I want to play AOS. So...
I think I played a whole 2 games of AOS 2. I think it was the first week it came out, and I never touched it since.
I played a couple of events, and like sporadically, but mainly towards the start, and then just haven't.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Well, I want to play again, so I'm happy to start from a fresh new rule set.
Yeah, it's an entirely
a lot easier,
entirely clean slate. Yeah, so I'm very much looking forward to it. The community will be happy to know that I'm not actually buying the Dominion box. This is one thing that I don't need that I'm not going to buy.
So he has just bought 3 armies instead.
Yeah. So there's another one out in the wild for people. It's not just going to sit in my pile of shame, like Kirsty.
This is what sober Callum is telling you. Give it a few hours.
Yeah. Woo!
Yeah.
But I will be picking up the new General's Handbook. So obviously for all the rules and missions and points values and then just try and get my head around what's going on. You guys excited?
Super hyped. I think I'm as interested in this new edition of AOS as I was with 9th 40k, which says a lot because I was very excited about that, and I been rooting through lots of the leaks just to make sure that the armies that I like to run are still sort of functional with all the new points values, and with the new battalions and stuff. And really hyped. Written a bunch of lists. Can't wait to try them all out.
Sounds good. Self, Ricky?
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't really seen much of the leak side of things to be able to put some lists or anything together, but I mean, my army's fairly large enough anyway to throw bits and pieces into a pot and give it a stir and see what we come up with. But I really want Kragnos.
Yeah. The short of it is almost everything has got a bit more expensive, so there's even less in my Archaon list than there was before.
And Ricky, as someone whose one of your armies is essentially all monstrous characters, this edition is perfect.
Yeah, this is the Ricky Robson edition.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Characters have got real good. Monsters have got real good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because really, I've got more in a box. I've got another 2 stone or thunder tusks to build to go with my stone horns and thunder tusks.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a list playing at the Super Series a couple of weeks ago, which had six monsters in it,
Cool.
which was just like
I'm assuming it was Beast Claws.
Yeah. It was So it was more tribes. And it was two Thunder Tusks and 4 Stone Horns, I think, and then a couple of characters dotted around on them, and that was it. And it was awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I could do that. I might.
I've done it.
I mean, if hey,
you've done it.
Yeah, well, I have. Yeah, that was going to be fun. If they're good now, then that's great, because unfortunately the army's been a bit lackluster. But hey, that'll be wicked. Stomping around again.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of little bits that are changing that I'm really liking the look of. I like I like the fact that the War Scroll battalions are moving to narrative play instead of match play.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So now when you build your army, you've got to build it round core battalions.
A bit like how 40K
you don't have to.
Oh, do you not have to?
You don't have to, but you'd be a fool not to try and include, because they don't cost anything. You just need to be able to meet the requirements for them. So you do yourself a wrong, and if you were just like, no, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, you essentially group different unit types together, don't you? And then you get a benefit out of it.
If you can take one, you definitely should. And the match play pack says, you can use them, so you definitely should. Otherwise, you're just doing yourself out of upgrades, free upgrades, really.
Yeah. So I really liked the idea of War Scroll battalions, because they let you create like little themed armies with cool rules and stuff like that. But their other effects really just sort of on a not even necessarily a competitive level, but sort of like they gave you an extra magic item and they gave you an extra command point, and like you could deploy everything in one go. So they became, I felt like you would pay you most of them where you were trying to pay as little as possible for as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing. They were giving you whatever the War Scroll like detachment ability was, and you were getting all that other stuff on top of it. And I think what they said in that GW article was right, like the haves and have-nots was, I think, summed it up perfectly, because some factions had such amazing War Scroll battalions that you saw nothing else from them.
Yeah.
And then other people just had toss.
Yeah, and typically like there was only like 1 or 2 good ones in a book. Whereas like in some instances, the collection of cooler models that were jammed into other War Scroll battalions were garbage. So I'm sort of excited for that to open up, because AOS to me, cool. AOS to me felt like the lists all, once you decided on like what your War Scroll battalion was going to be, because most armies generally were built around one. You had so few points really to play around with that the lists almost sort of built themselves. So it became a very and this was at a competitive level. You could say, oh, that person's got a whatever the Fire Slayer one it was, where they all popped up.
I was literally just about to say that Lords of the Lodge. You would not see a competitive Fire Slayer army that didn't have Lords of the Lodge.
Yeah,
I think maybe there was like 1 or 2 nutters that did well that didn't have it, but 99% was Lords of the Lodge.
And with that, obviously, with all the restrictions around War Scroll battalions, you didn't really get you don't typically tend to get a lot of free movement in them to take different units and stuff. The lists do kind of just write themselves, which is a bit of a shame.
The new battalions.
Sorry, Karen.
No, the new battalions have gone like completely away from that. So it's just about organizing your force to fit them, and they're not bringing in anything stupid or wacky. It's like one of them is you can get an extra artifact, or you'll once a game you can get an extra command point when you want it in the hero phase. Like
Yeah.
they just do nice things like that. And there's a couple of cool ones that are specific to like the battle pack. They're really cool. One for like more monster stuff, and another one for infantry that makes them immune to monstrous rampages, which is pretty cool.
Oh,
that's cool because the so it looks like GW are adopting a like season for AOS, in lieu of a campaign to start with. This one's all focused around Gur, so it's all about monsters and fighting monsters and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Give me the season of big feckin' monsters. That's what I want.
Yeah,
I just love how it's called Gur. Gur.
Whatever. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. I'll hopefully give me the impetus to finish my Host Arcanum Zine Charm with all my screamers and stuff.
Mm.
And by finish, I mean paint it.
Start.
Because it's grey and undercoated. Yeah, very excited for that. So I know this will go out on Monday, but good luck to everybody trying to buy their Dominion boxes and General's handbooks tomorrow. May the odds be in your favour, because we all know that at 10:05 tomorrow morning,
the website will crash.
Yeah, the GW website will crash, and club pages and social media will just be ridden with salt. Yeah.
As we turn off notifications from local clubs.
But yeah. So I'm super excited about it. Hopefully within. So obviously, by the time our next episode goes out, that'll actually be the release weekend. So we will start hopefully having some AOS content over the next couple of episodes, which will be really cool. And hopefully have the opportunity to start playing, which is really cool.
Yeah,
very excited. So sticking with the sort of more tribes for you, Ricky.
I mean, for the moment, anyway, depends on how we get into it a bit more. If we get into it like we did towards the end of first edition, where we were doing probably more frequent events than we were 40k, I may look at another army, because some of them I do want to do. But we'll stick with more tribes for now. I've got a ton of ogres that I've just built on feet, and I've still got two more big monsters to do, and I really want Kragnos, so that's probably where I'll be for the start of the edition, and then see where we go from there.
Oh, nice. You, Sam, you're going to be tossing between your Fire Slayers and...
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get at least one of my Slayer lists painted up and finish painting one of the two Khorne lists, but there's not much to do for either of the Khorne lists that I want to run around with.
Oh, that's cool. I thought you had all of that done, but that must have been...
I thought, well, I was at a point where I thought I only had 2 miniatures to paint for the Archaon version, but it's actually 3. So, boo! And then the version without him, I think I've got 13 models to paint for that, which is 1 unit and a couple of random bits.
Yeah, I feel bad for you, because the War Mammoth went to Legends, didn't it?
It did. I'll just use it for friendly knockabouts, and I'll actually finish painting it at some point. It's such a gargantuan fucking project, and it's too beautiful not to have one. So yeah, I'm not fussed with it going to Legends.
You did take it to Pillage, didn't you?
I took it to one of the club events where I rocked up with Archaon and a War Mammoth.
It was the club event. Yeah.
It's so ridiculously big. I love it. Good old Snuffy.
Yeah, like I said, I'll probably crack open the boxes each stuff with all of my like flying screamers and stuff like that. Yeah, get around to finally painting
just
that
for the time being, I guess.
yeah. Until I find something, see how I like it. But I've got a few AOS armies lying around still.
I kind of want to commit the ultimate sin as a Khorne player and use one of the new generic artifacts makes the bearer a wizard. So I think I want a Khorne wizard.
That is heresy,
dear.
Sam.
It is indeed.
But,
We'll
you know
miscast
what?
every single game.
Yeah, miscasting is back. That's exciting.
Yeah.
You joking?
Yep, double one.
Ah, brilliant.
Take
D3
D3 mortal
mortal
wounds, and the wizard can't cast any spells for the rest of the phase. Real punishing, but really cool.
I bet Croak ignores it.
I don't think he does. It's not on his new war scroll.
I would hope he does.
Um,
He's like king of magic.
he is king of magic.
Well, yeah, but he's also a doddery old fuck, so he's bound to drop a bollock occasionally.
Yeah.
Do you think he's still got them?
I imagine the skink looks after them.
In a jar.
Yeah.
Do frogs have bollocks?
Yeah. They're not very big. Well, now I'm going to Google it.
Oh goodness. Yeah, so we're clearly very excited for AOS 3. And yeah, we're going to play some games. We'll find out what's going on, and we'll see if we like it, and then we'll give you an honest opinion. Which will
Frogs do have testicles.
Thanks, Sam. I was just stalling for time there until you found it. So
that's all right. The article categorically says not a penis, but they do have testicles.
So, would you crack them open like eggs or something then?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
That's where we're at. 3 incredible tangents already. Doing real good, guys. Real good. So what other news from GW other than AOS 3? The GW event pack.
Oh, yeah.
For their American Roadshow.
Oh, the thing that's essentially single-handedly burnt down the internet with nerd rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Everybody who's bought a 3D printer to reproduce GW models, you can't play at those 3 tournaments.
Well, you know it's obviously going to be in the UK too.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. But we've not got tournaments here yet. but yeah. So GW are going ahead with their Southern US Roadshow, and I'm very, very jealous. But so GW have released an event pack showing their board types that they're going to be using, and some rules around etiquette and everything like that for the tournaments and how they're going to be played. So yeah, it's really interesting because sort of the GW always have had event packs for their since they've started doing the grand tournaments again, but they are very light.
So it's usually like 2 pages.
Yeah, it's you show up, you don't be a dick, and this is how the scoring works. You don't really get a feel for what you might encounter at the event or anything like that. Whereas this is a bit more comprehensive. So, for example, they've produced a top-down map of what the average table should look like, and it's like a bunch of big obscuring ruins, some smaller dense ruins, and like obstacles and stuff like that, arranged in a fairly not particularly symmetrical, but in a fairly like generic balanced way.
Okay.
Because Americans need pictures and they need to know what they're going to be playing on before they play at the tournaments, because otherwise they have a tiz.
General sweeping statement of the week.
I don't know.
That's my shot across the pond. Yeah, we just do everything that the Americans do.
Yeah,
we're not thought leaders anymore. Yeah, that's my shot across the Atlantic. Come and get me.
See a drone.
Yeah. Biden, no. But that was a very general sweeping statement, and I do apologize to any American listeners. Anyway, so that's really exciting. But yeah, one of the big news out of it is that GW have essentially identified the fact that your models cannot contain 3D printed, recast, or third-party parts unless you've designed them and manufactured them yourself. Now, part of the rules pack says that like if it comes to their attention, they'll ask you to sort of prove that you designed it.
A lot of fake documents going to be coming out.
Yeah, and like I feel like it will mostly like that's in there mostly to just sort of be like, if they're unsure, they'll just ask you to remove your model. But essentially, that provision there is just to say, look, please don't come to one of our events and use other people's stuff.
Yeah,
like. Don't come to our event and spit in our face, basically.
Yeah, well, this is it. Why not?
Yeah, I know. I know it's people's hobby and they can do whatever they want with it. Like that's fine, but sort of, you know, you don't have to go to those events if that's what their events say. Like it's not like they're springing it on you on the day that you can't use like Cromlech heads on your orcs or 3D printed liquefier guns. Not that you would do that anymore after the FAQ.
That's because Drukhari is shit now, mate.
Garbage.
Haven't you heard?
Yeah, I mean they won the Atlantic City Open, but
still shit.
Yeah, still shit. Although I think that was under the old FAQ in points. But anyway, but yeah, I'm all for it. Like I have seen like obviously 3D printing's come on massively over the last few years, and some of the models that are out there are absolutely incredible. But it doesn't feel right to me to use 3D printed models.
Well, the thing is,
in a Games Workshop game.
Like, if you're rocking up to a GW event with 3D printed stuff that is clearly not of their design, then you're asking for them to ask you to not use that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if
they've got wages to pay.
Well, yeah.
Those designers have got mouths to feed. You're just
it's very different. Yeah, it's very different to be like, oh, I've 3D printed a bunch of power fists. You know, if you no one would probably spot that, but it's the like clearly not their stuff. They just don't want you using it, and it's always been that way. I found it very hard to comprehend the level of rage this week because it's not anything different than it's always been.
No, I mean, before it was like it had to be like set like in under the old tournaments. It was sort of like it has to be majority Games Workshop parts.
Apart from that one guy that had just outright War Machine miniatures in White Dwarf.
Yeah.
What a legend!
Well, and at one of the GTs we went to, a guy had some of the Protector of Menorth racks, so like the crosses. On his like Inquisitorial army, and he was using them as objectives and stuff. And his assassins were jumping off of them, and that got a best army nomination, which is quite funny. But yeah, like I get why people 3D print stuff. If you're 3D printing, like the thing that I really can't abide though is people 3D printing GW models. Like I admit, like I've bought recast models in the past. I don't buy them anymore. Like. I don't need to buy them anymore. Like it's just like printing a unit of 10 guys that's cost you like £2 in material or whatever, or like a £5 for an STL file or whatever. Like it's just not. You are like you know, if you wanted to use that thing, then you've taken that money away from the company that's designed it. And like I know that they make billions of pounds and blah 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 blah, or I'm only going to print units that I wouldn't normally buy. Like it's just not. It's just it doesn't necessarily sit right with me. Especially if it's a direct copy of a GW model.
It's for me. It's a big leap from odd components to entire units and armies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like it.
But again, the only real issue is if you try and take it to one of those events, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's it. Like, if whatever event you're going to says like it's okay, you can use whatever you want as long as it's sort of clear what it is, then that's what the event says. I mean, I've said in the past, like I I love seeing people's creative armies, and I love like building and converting models. But a lot of the time, you just can't tell what stuff's even supposed to be.
Yeah.
And now with being able to 3D print essentially anything you want, you can have any collection of models be whatever you want, and whatever event you go to, as long as if they're like, oh yeah, you can count as whatever you want, then it doesn't become 40k. You're just playing by a generic rule set.
Yeah,
because you're not playing within the universe. You're playing with like, I don't know, some wolf people pretending to be Tau or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you're effectively just using a piece to represent a characteristic.
Yeah, you're playing Star Wars chess. You're playing Star Wars Monopoly. That's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. When you should be playing Warhammer 40,000 Monopoly. Which exists.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I've got one in my cupboard.
In the pile of shame.
Yeah, because I'm a slave to capitalism. I've not seen what it's like on the inside, but it's there.
GW, let me work the balls.
Yeah, that's what I want.
But I agree with it. Hopefully, other people adopt it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
some will.
Like I said, it doesn't matter if you've only got a 3D printed army or something that contains like purchased other parts, then just don't take it to that tournament. If you want to go to that tournament, take something else, because the chances are, like, not to be disparaging or anything like that to anybody or be over general, but if you've got an army that you've 3D printed specific parts for example, chances are you've probably got more than one army because you're building a specific like list for a tournament. Like that's not sort of like, oh, my first army is Drakari. Oh, I need 20 liquefiers. Like, oh, I've 3D printed them all. I can't use them now. Like that doesn't happen. Like people who are doing it are building specific lists and things like that and they are the components that aren't readily available. So like just take whatever, or just don't go to the tournament because you'll probably moan about it.
The long and the short of it is, don't try and rock up to Warhammer World with it. Basically,
yeah. Don't go up to Nottingham and then just take a shit on their doorstep. Don't do that, and they'll probably get on all right. And even if you do, they probably won't notice. But
they probably won't notice. It is a Nottingham industrial estate.
Yeah. I meant they probably won't notice the models, to be fair, but
not the shit on the doorstep.
Right. So, have you guys got anything else to say about that?
No.
Drugs, kids.
Just drugs. Was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Ricky might be having a break.
Yeah, let's have another break. Let's put another couple of double A's in Ricky, and join us after the week, and we'll talk about some Adeptus Mechanicus. What a Goggins and Christian Slater sound exactly the same. And we're back. All right, so the guys are still here, still Callum, Ricky, and Sam. We are actually a little bit behind with our sort of thoughts and musings on codexes, because in the last 3 weeks we've had 2 new codexes released.
Have we?
Yes. So the Mechanicus came out a couple of weeks ago, and last weekend the Sisters of Battle 9th edition book was released.
Oh crap!
Oh my goodness!
My Sisters of Battle codex is still in the cellophane, so I'm doing really well. Doing really well because I've not opened it and bought a bunch of robots for
Good job.
Army. And I'm going to avoid opening it for as long as possible because I know what will happen.
Can't think what will happen.
Can't think about it. Plus, Simon and Nick are both heavily invested in their Sisters of Battle, so I was like, no, it'll be cool. AdMech. Nobody else is playing AdMech. Beep boop. It'll be fine.
Beep boop.
Yeah, so obviously I've fallen off the wagon again and bought an Adeptus Mechanicus army, which I'm very excited about. I've been putting it together. Sort of first impressions of the book, that they've gone from a stand in your deployment zone, screen your opponent out, and just shoot everything off the board, which is what they were in 8th and early 9th edition, to, much like everything else that's received a codex, a really nice, in-depth, balanced army. Obviously, we all know that in 9th edition, you need to be able to secure the center of the board. You need combat units, you need buff characters, and sort of a bit of everything to successfully play the game. And I feel like they do that really well now.
That's good.
I would say pretty much every unit in the books had a redesign of some sort. So changing to their special rules, upping of their war gear,
Effectively changing their role.
Yeah. They've made the so for example, they've made the Sakarans, the Rust Stalkers, and the Infiltrators actually good at the roles that they're supposed to have.
So infiltrating.
So the Infiltrators before were just rubbish. Like, they didn't actually do anything. Whereas now they do the standard infiltrating thing, deploy anywhere on the board that's not within 9 inches of the opponent or their deployment zone. They drop people's morale, and you can't re-roll to hit when you're like close to them, when you're targeting them, which is really cool.
Okay.
So they've got loads of scramblers and stuff. And whereas the Rust Stalkers are just super, super killy. Loads of attacks, can cause mortal wounds, decent strength, and really quick, but super fragile. Whereas before they were just expensive Skitarii with power swords. Whereas now they're very good at their job that they're supposed to be doing. The characters are probably the thing that's stayed the most similar, I would say. The three different types of tech priest. So the tech priest engine seer pretty much does exactly the same thing as he always did. Be a cheap HQ choice and heal some stuff. But he gained a special rule where he can pick a friendly vehicle within 3 inches and give it +1 a hit. So it's actually a reason to take him instead of just being the cheaper tech priest.
Yeah, that's better.
The Dominus does pretty much exactly what he did before. He's got a bubble of reroll 1s to hit for core units, and can heal things, and is like kind of okay in combat, and has a half decent couple of guns. And then the real hero is the Tech Priest Mechanicus, so the big fat guy. He now picks a unit so instead of buffing everything's range within 6 inches, it picks a unit, and then if they've got certain guns, they get an additional 6-inch range in AP. Oh. So it works wonders on like Skitarii, Vanguard, and Rangers, who have become like the actual mainstay killy thing of the army, and now just their basic infantry squads, I would say.
I always like Vanguard with the rad carbines. An extra 6 inches on those is massive.
Yeah, so I've been I think I'm going to be playing Forge World Metallica with them, who can advance and fire assault weapons without penalty. So it essentially gives them the ability to move, advance, and shoot with a 24-inch range. So you can pretty much hit everything. So I like the Vanguard. They're really cool. They've got assault 3 guns, low strength, no AP initially, but any 6s to hit automatically wound non-vehicles. So it cuts out that sort of wound step. And they've got a fantastic 1 CP stratagem where unmodified 4s to hit automatically wound. And I was using that to just delete units of Space Marines in the game I had last night. Just turn 1, they ran forward, they got the buff from the Mechanicus, they've got a little guy in the unit who helps them ignore cover, and then just fired 60 shots at some Eradicators and killed them. And then next turn they did exactly the same thing to some Blade Guard, and then to some Outriders the turn afterwards. The Rangers seem to be the internet's pick out of the 2 units, primarily because with a couple of buffs and a stratagem, you can have them be rapid fire 2, with a 36-inch range. So within 18, they're firing 4 shots at strength 4, AP 2, hitting on 2s. And that can put a hole in pretty much everything. So when you've got 170 points of guys with a couple of buffs on them, shooting 80 strength 4 AP 2 shots, that's pretty tasty. So the book, as sort of you'd probably expect from Mechanicus, is all about setting up your buffs correctly, and just sort of supercharging the units, sort of one at a time, throwing them at your opponent, and just destroying the thing that you need to kill that turn. It's not a particularly resilient army, but they can be super resilient at the time that you kind of need it. So the Mechanicus book has gone back to so when they were released in 6th edition, I think, the Scutari book was separate from the Cult Mechanicus book, which was really weird. And they had 2 different sets of rules, and they've kind of done that within the codex. So the Canticles of the Omnissiah, which just used to affect everything, now only affect the Cult Mechanicus stuff. And the Scutari have got their Doctrina Imperatives back. So you choose those at the start of the battle round, and all your Scutari stuff gets a benefit and then a negative. So like if they get +1 to hit with shooting, they get -1 to hit in combat. All right, which is really cool. And there's one. So there's +1 to hit with shooting, -1 to hit in combat, +1 to hit in combat, -1 with shooting. There's +1 save, but -3 movement, and +3 movement, -1 save. So you can really sort of go, okay, this is the turn I need to be resilient. So I'll drop that. I'll use some bits to put them in light cover, and then all of a sudden I've got a unit of Scutari with essentially a 2-up save, ignoring AP 1 and 2. So they can be sticky in some instances, but it's not a resilient army. Not everything in the army is super hard to kill. It's just that a lot of the time, the thing that you need to kill will be the difficult thing to kill that turn. I think it's going to be something that people are going to struggle with until they've played a few games against them. Because it's along the same sort of lines as Drakari and Space Marines. It's obviously a very powerful book. It's very offensive. It can be very quick, and you can do a lot of weird things with it. So I think it might be a bit of a shock to some people, like the first time they play against Mechanicus, because there's a lot of depth in the book. So one Mechanicus army that you play might be completely different to another, and then they'll both pull 2 sets of completely different tricks. So it may take a little while for people to get used to. And on the flip side, Mechanicus players having to explain what the army does at the start of every game, like Gene Stealer Cult players. It's something that I once played 2 tournaments in like 3 weeks. And I think 9 out of the 10 games that I played, I had to explain how like the Gene Stealer Cult ambushing worked.
There was a PowerPoint presentation and laser pointers. It was
just a
lot of work.
Please just read this. But on the other side of that, because the army is very powerful, there are some things that are obviously very good. But because the book's got depth, there's lots of other cool things that you can do instead. So I'm at the moment trying not to focus on the things that are immediately obviously very good, and sort of trying to develop my own ideas and play around with that, because I know that it's all good stuff anyway. It might be the stuff in competitive lists is 5 to 10% more efficient than what I'm using, but if it's already very good, then it doesn't really matter, and I'll play with what I want to play. So very excited about it. I'm hoping to use them throughout the majority of the upcoming confrontation events. So use those as sort of 6 tournaments to develop a list, really get to know the army inside and out, and then hit the ground running really in 2022 for all of the confrontation events, GTs, and stuff that we're going to next year. Kind of in the same vein that I sort of did with Tau in 6th and 7th edition, hoping to pretty much just play them and get back to stocking the trophy shelf, hopefully, by the end of it.
Well, there's plenty of chances.
Plenty of chances. That's it. 1 or 2 trophies a year. If I go to like 12 tournaments a year, that's bound to happen. So.
Yeah, well, I got 7 next year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. I was talking to one of our buddies when we went for a walk during the week, and I was like, "There's 13 tournaments in Haven that Ricky's running between now and the end of next year. Like, that's a lot of 40k. Let alone, the Pompey Pillage. There'll be 2 of those between now and the end of next year. Then there's all the Warhammer World GTs and stuff that we'll probably go to. Hoping to possibly get out to Gibraltar. And I'm also considering, so last weekend, the Atlantic City Open was on in the US. And I'm kind of thinking that I might try to go to that next year. Because Atlantic City is in New Jersey, which is a 5-hour flight from London. So it's not even really that much of a hassle to get there, in my mind.
We've spent 6 hours stuck in traffic going from here to Nottingham.
Yeah, exactly. Like I can stay at my mum's house outside of Heathrow, and then be in America in like 6-7 hours essentially. Ready to play one of the big US tournaments. So yeah, I'm sort of playing around with that idea, looking at numbers and costs and stuff. But so I might look at that next year. It's very cool. So anybody who wants to come along to that, that'd be rad.
Nah. When is it?
It'll be this time next year.
This
so it'll be sort of June. Yeah. So it's
that's possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, so people who don't know where Atlantic City is, it's essentially just south, I think, of the Jersey Shore. So it's all on the beaches. It's all boardwalks and casinos essentially. So it's a like seaside resort city, and the events are hosted by Frontline Gaming, who do the LVO and all the big ones. So
to get your shorts out.
Yeah, no, exactly. And in the middle of the summer, you book a week in a hotel over there, probably for dirt cheap, stay in some grotty casino, play some toys, sit on the beach for a bit. Sounds like a good week.
Sounds like a plan, mate. Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
Start saving some pennies.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So that'd be really cool. And I'm just excited to sort of play tournaments again. And I always enjoy the tournaments that we go to and the ones that you host, and the ones we go away to. But sort of having a run of tournaments is really exciting. That's sort of back to where we were like a good few years ago, where we would go to tournaments every month.
Yeah, and I do miss that.
And it's
what's going to be nice though is that lockdown's going to have paid off for me, in that I'm not going to have to rush anything before an event next year.
That's true.
At all.
That's true.
I can't wait. It's going to be so relaxing.
Yeah, lockdown hasn't paid off for me. I've got more unpainted armies now than I did at the start.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, by a decent amount as well.
This is the first time in a very long time I've had like 4 armies. Like that's good going for me.
Yeah. So what's that? That's what Harlequins, Craft World, Custodes, and Mystery Project.
And Mystery Project.
Mystery Project, which nobody has guessed yet.
No, they haven't.
Terrible.
Yeah. Keep it coming, though. It's been fun to
Keep it
tell you
coming.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you think the club are going to be running some more?
I hope so.
Because I want to start playing some games locally.
But then I don't get to play games because then I have to run it.
Yeah, well, see.
The answer to that is yes, we will at some point, probably next year, because I can't even try and think about running events this year, just because we don't know what's happening. Like, we're still running super reduced capacity at the club. Obviously, the reopening has been pushed back another month in the UK, so it's just But
it's almost as if pulling a random date out of a hat and saying everything will be fine by then was poorly thought out.
Maybe, but so maybe not this year. I'm hoping that the club can run its Christmas Open Day again. In which case there'll be a small 40k tournament there, at least. Fingers crossed. Just sort of playing it by ear, and we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Exciting.
Nice. Yeah. Flip side is you could let me run one of the confrontations and you could play in it.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is recorded. I can't get out of that now.
we could have a discussion.
But So I miss going to loads of events. There was a point in the last couple of years where I think I took them for granted a bit. Whereas now I've not had them. I really, really want them again. So I'm very excited. I've got an army with a cool set of models that I like. They've got a cool set of rules. Hopefully that'll keep my attention for a couple of months.
Yeah, what do you want?
I'm looking forward to rolling the dice, but also the social interaction is going to be nice.
Yeah. You're going to have to remember how, mate.
Well, no, it'll be the same as it was beforehand. I'll just abuse people until they ask me to leave.
At least now you can go, sorry, I've not had much interaction with people for quite a while. And they'll be like, oh, that's okay. Well, I'll let you off.
But please don't spit in my face again.
As they cry inside.
I've seen a good amount of my friends over lockdown, but obviously never in one place. So that's what I'm very excited for. I'm excited for the Saturday after game one, sit around in the car park, having a chat, eating our assorted Waitrose lunches.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for that.
Assorted Waitrose lunches.
Yeah, raid the deli counter. Get charged seven quid for a pot of olives.
Let's get the Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Or you can just walk down the street.
Yeah. But yes, I'm very excited for it. Obviously, it's a bit of a logistical challenge for you running so many events in a short space of time, but pretty sure you can handle it.
I think I might have it down to a T, maybe. We'll see.
Not to brag, but I think I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah. It's well easy, though, isn't it? So I've heard.
I don't know. The events that I've run, which have only been small, like at most 20 players, have been the most stressful experiences of my life.
No, they can be very stressful. Very stressful. But I think it's the people that make them what they are. Sometimes you can't get a good vibe, a good reaction from the event, and then sometimes you can.
Yeah.
And that also helps drive. It's almost like it's driven on an emotion. It's very odd. It's a very odd experience running an event.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Hey,
you confident in your rules pack?
First draft, finished today. We'll see. We'll get that proofread. looked at, and then hopefully that will be the same rules pack that will roll out for the next 6 events, which is part of the logistical nightmare is multiple rules back. So yeah, 1 rules back.
Yeah,
and
copy
then
and paste.
Exactly. Then splitting up the 15 tables, having 15 boxes ready, transports booked for the 6 weekends, and yeah, all of the admin, the paperwork side of things. I think I've figured out a new way of doing things, so should be a lot better for me anyway. Makes things a lot smoother that way. Shouldn't be any change for you guys.
Well, that's good. That's the hope. As long as it's easy, and I don't hear people around me going, "Oh, how do you fill out the scorecard? I did a lesson, or read, or bring an army."
Or usually, I'm drunk and I filled it in wrong.
I don't think I've ever filled in one wrong at confrontation.
I don't make them very hard.
No, but I am very, very drunk most of the
time. like Digby chicken Caesar drunk.
Yeah. I mean, the 2-part verification that I like to force on people.
Yeah, for sure.
It stops there being mistakes. And if there is a mistake, there's 2 of you to make that mistake, like it and lump it.
Mm-hmm.
It does actually happen, believe it or not, but it's a lot rarer than it is now, than it was before. Sorry.
Yes, you both appear to have scored 0 points down to the bottom table.
Yeah,
you can play again for your sins.
That's it.
Can you imagine?
That'd be hilarious. Should we wrap up?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Apologies if it's a bit of a slow episode this week, but we're sort of geared up for AOS, but we don't obviously have it yet. And so hopefully over the next couple of weeks we'll start talking a bit more about AOS. We'll get some games in. We'll start talking about like list ideas and cool things that we like about the new edition. And also sort of we'll maybe get some of the local guys involved who are taking stuff to confrontation and sort of get different list ideas and what they want out of the different events. So we've got like a regular series going on, possibly.
Do it.
Do it.
Make it happen.
Make it happen. I will speak to the people who have the clearest, most lovely voices I know.
But we're already here.
Yeah. Who the fuck else are you going to get?
Touche. Right. Lovely chatting as always, gents. And thank you everybody for listening along this week. If you've got any questions about anything we've talked about this week or any just random questions, then we haven't really done an audience ask session for a while.
Or if you've got any ideas of stuff you want us to talk about.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same question, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Let us know, I guess.
I'm pretty sure there's a clone of Sam walking on the other side of the road.
Has it got out again? Kill it with a brick. It'll melt into a puddle.
It's surprising the amount of people who look like the man from Toy Story 2 that are walking about in the world.
I do look like Al from Al's Toy Barn.
Sorry, I couldn't help it, Sam.
It's the big chicken suit. That's all right. I call you Phil Mitchell enough to deserve it occasionally.
Yes. Anyway, we'll put up some posts in the next couple of weeks and just generate some things for people to talk about.
Who does Ricky look like? I feel like Ricky's missing out on being mocked here.
Chris Evans.
Excellent. There we go. Chris Evans, Phil Mitchell, Al from Al's Toy Barn.
I mean, Chris Evans, obviously, Captain America.
No.
No, I don't. But what about Michael Bublé? No.
What about Michael Ball? He's got twice the blood of a regular man.
Yeah.
I can see Chris Evans though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that someone said it.
That's interesting. What random celebrities do you look like, listeners? Let us know.
There we go. There's our fourth tangent of the episode.
That's some top quality Warhammer content.
Let's leave it there.
Yeah. Thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Cheers, guys.
Drop it, Sam.